Have you ever thought about how much time do you spend on social media sites on a daily basis? Today, we're growing up in a Facebook, Instagram world. So in other words, we're good at putting filters on things. We're good at showing people that life is amazing, even though I'm depressed. Everybody sounds tough. And everybody sounds like we have it all figured out. And the reality is there's very little toughness and most people don't have it all figured out. So when senior people say, well, what should we do? They all sound like, oh, this is what you gotta do. But in reality, they have no clue. So we have an entire generation growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations, and through no fault of their own, they were dealt a bad hand. Now let's add technology to that. We know that engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine, and that's why when you get a text, it feels good. In a 2012 study, Harvard research scientists reported that talking about oneself through social media activates a pleasure sensation in the brain, usually associated with food, money, and sex. That's why we count the likes, and it's why we go back 10 times to see if the interaction is growing. And if our Instagram is slowing, then we wonder if we have done something wrong or people just don't like us anymore. The trauma of young kids to be unfriended is too much to handle. We know when you get the attention, it feels good. You get a hit of dopamine, which feels good, and which is why we keep going back to it. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. So in other words, it's highly, highly addictive. We know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than the people who spend less time on Facebook. So these things of balance are not bad. Alcohol is not bad. Too much alcohol is bad. Gambling is fun. Too much gambling is dangerous. So there's nothing wrong with social media on cell phones. It is the